audience, we have our mics ready. All right, Ayub Abdikadir, over to you.
Thank you, Olive, and much appreciated. And thanks to the audience that is live here at Citizen Television Studios. My panel this evening will be made up by Njeru Kadhangu, who is an ex-MP, represented Runyenje's constituency. Lovely having you, and it's a pleasure that you have come for this discussion.
Nashukuru sana Kadil, mjamboni nyote.
We are also joined this evening by Kidi Mwaga, who is a lawyer and represents the Young Voices. Good evening to you, Kidi.
Good evening, Ayub, and good evening, the audience.
Good evening.
Yes,
and next up is Cosmas Kinyadudi, who is a political and policy analyst, also joins us this morning. Asante sana.
Karibu.
Much appreciated. And also James Gakuo, who was an activist in 1990 when Kenyans took to the street to demand for multipartyism, again, also with the raft of the other changes that they had called for. Good evening.
Very well.
Asante sana.
Thank you.
Tumefurahi kuwa nawe hapa. And to you, the live audience here, who have granted us their company. We appreciate. First, I begin with you, Tumishi Njeru Kadhangu.
Yes.
Looking back 35 years on, how do you compare the demonstrations of today and what they intend to achieve vis-a-vis the demonstrations then and what they achieved?
First of all, I think it is important to reflect not only about that 5 years ago, but about how this nation has been developing step by step since August 1961, when Jomo Kenyatta was released from Marara. It is 65 years now. And I would like Kenyans, not at this stage, but all stages, to remember that they have been ruled kimabafu throughout. Number one. Number two is that this nation has lost one generation, 30 years. All the years that Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi ruled, he made sure that all those young people who are in school, first and foremost, were denied knowledge, were obstructed. And therefore, the school curriculum was changed to make sure that they were denied history, their geography, and belonging. And so when these young people before me are actually talking about their parents, it is true that because of the oppressive despot, their parents were denied and therefore did not have information they could share with them. Okay. And so they got engaged into drama festivals, music festivals, and whatever. Nothing substantial, nothing national, but entertainment like Mobutu Sese Seko was doing in Congo.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So what I want to say, there is a very big difference between what the young people are doing today and what we were doing in 1970s and 1990. Because that time we were fighting to reinstate a free-thinking society because we had lost it. But these people are fighting for survival. They have been economically denied completely, and meaning that there is no hope for collective or individual. And what that means is that people have to start thinking, even at the individual level, about what is it must I do with my neighbor to be able to survive. And that is what I've been calling the government to do, to think about why they are in office. They are not in office to enjoy around in helicopters. They are in office to make sure that these lives are given full time. Okay. And number one is that they enjoy good life and be happy, because every human being seeks happiness. Even the one committing suicide tonight is committing suicide to leave this pain so that they can achieve some happiness tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah. And just a reminder that this conversation is also live on our X page, hosted by my colleague from the digital desk, Claire Mwinde, where she is steering that conversation to also bring your observations, questions, and your opinions there at the X space. And we can listen in to what Claire and her team are doing at the moment.
When young people in South Africa are demonstrating to Africanize their curriculum and to say these are the things we want as our society, to what extent? Finally, constitution is to constitute us. Lower your expectation a little bit that you have not done anything so unique. It's the mode that have changed. History is like this beautiful woman who pretends and who is nini, but history never changes.
All right, and that is the voice of Dr. Duncan Ojwang, lecturer in international law, regional diplomacy at the African Nazarene University, with Claire Mwinde and the others who are live on our X space. And you can also join in to listen to the conversation as well on X, formerly Twitter. Coming back to you, Wakili Kidimwaga, Mtumishi points out the question of how information has given these young Kenyans the power to coordinate all their affairs on the digital space. Has that made change? And in any case, was there the listening ear on the part of those in power today? And perhaps to understand where these young voices are coming from.
Thank you very much, Ayub, for the opportunity to be on this panel and to see the beautiful faces of my colleagues and younger brothers in the audience. We are meeting here at a time when the country is gripped by both anticipation and uncertainty about what will happen tomorrow. As we are marking 35th anniversary of Saba Saba, I think allow me to start by paraphrasing the wisdom of Chinua Achebe, that we are not the children of this country, we are her parents, because the Kenya we want is not yet born, and we are the generation that history has charged with the responsibility to give birth to that Kenya. In answering your question more directly, again, allow me to rely on the wisdom of Khan Ross, the writer of the book, The Leaderless Revolution. And Khan Ross in the book, Leaderless Revolution, says that the problem of the 21st century, particularly at the political angle, are too intractable for a generation to rely entirely on the wisdom of any individual, one man or woman. It is therefore imperative that in the 21st century, ordinary people organize and come together and find solutions to some of these problems. That is part of what inspired the revolution last year, when the people's representative abdicated their responsibility and the young people acting on personal agency. And when I speak of personal agency is that when we organize around leaderlessness, it is that every individual is responsible for the revolution, as opposed to when you rely on some elevated one individual who say can be compromised or anything. For the members, my age mates in the audience and Kenyans at large will remember that today, as we celebrate the first anniversary of the Gen Z revolution and the 35th anniversary of Saba Saba, one thing that the Gen Z revolution has achieved is that it has completely upended the politics of patronage. Okay. And today, as we meet here today, I think that as young people, we shall still continue to push to ensure that in a small way, we help birth the Kenya we want. Thank you.
And James, coming to you as an activist then, 35 years on, how did you survive in an environment? How did you undertake that solemn responsibility in demanding for multipartyism, amongst the other long list of reforms you wanted from then government, in an environment that was where the government had literally a firm grip on what Kenyans were doing?
Thank you very much, Abdi. I am James Maina, as you have heard it. Let me tell you, during those days of Saba Saba, some of us were lucky I attended. I woke up very early in the morning with our group. We went there and we disguised that we are playing football, knowing very well our issue was not football, is to tell the people to come and watch what we were doing. After the crowd started gathering at Kamukonji, all of a sudden, the police started beating us with whips, rungus, and everything which they had. Now the commotion started. The bridge which is from the other area, that is Manjengo, a footbridge, was broken where people were on top. They all went to the river. The other side where it is tarmac, a big lorry of police came and broke the road. There was no way, so people were beaten badly at Kamukonji, and the only way to get out is to get into the river. I tell you, Nairobi River during those days, all of those staffs from Gekomba, from Shauri Moyo, were in that river. When we were in school, we were taught water has no color. Nairobi River has color. A color of contamination. And I'm happy, you gentlemen, you have been told that after 2 years, Nairobi River, you'll be going there to get fish. Which fish can stay in such a river? Really. I just want to give you a piece of advice, because during our time was tough because we did not have much party. Mm-hmm. Abdi, I want to say this. The government of the day have not realized they are dealing with what kind of people in the society. You agencies, we all know, you have a string of academic degrees. And as Karl Marx said, who was a philosopher, that urbanization saved humanity from rural idiocracy. You have left the villages, you have urbanized yourself, don't accept to be taken back to the village. Okay. Because that is not the way forward. And again, I also want you to understand, anybody telling you to apply job in Qatar, in Dubai, do you pay taxes in Dubai or you pay in Kenya? Do you pay in Kenya? This is your country, and this is where you die. I'm happy to see a man of the Quran here who can bury us. Okay. So the issue is simple. Yeah. The issue is simple and clear. You are not going to leave this country if somebody tells you that he's going to leave the office constitutional. Yeah. Who will vote if you go to Qatar? Okay. You see? It's a bit dynamic. Okay. Coming to your Cosmas, what then is your observation from a policy perspective in a change, however little, in the attitude of the state in responding to some of the issues that were brought forward by these young Kenyans?
Thank you very much, Abdikadir. I think my take on this is a little expansive, but I will try to condense it within the time space that we have. First, I feel that we don't have a shared understanding of Saba Saba and what it stood for. Its history, the progression, and the current state. My opinion is that young people, and especially the current young generation, should try to understand the circumstances in which this country finds itself. Saba Saba started in 1954 in Tanganyika. Many of us may not know that. It was the launch of Tanganyika African National Union as a party by the revered Julius Kambarage Nyerere. So every year they have been celebrating Saba Saba as the occasion when the seeds of independence for that country were planted. The second Saba Saba was in 1967 on the celebration of Saba Saba in Dar es Salaam. To celebrate the independence, they organized an international trade fair. Now, coming to Kenya in 1990, the country was stifling under dictatorship. And as Mheshimiwa Katangu has said rightly so, people were agitating for more democratic space and constitutional reforms. KANU under Moi caved in. And so to answer your question directly, I think Saba Saba rally, the first one in Kamkunji, which largely was considered to have aborted, but on a scale of 1 to 10, 8%, 80%, 8 over 10, there was success. And a great deal has been achieved. The first one was the repeal of Section 2A. The second one was the return of multipartyism. And today, the greatest one is the Constitution 2010. And so the space in which we are operating today, those who have lived through it know that it's much more open and has achieved a lot more. Coming to unemployment has arisen because the population is rising as well. And you remember during the Kibaki era, there was expansion in education and making the cost of education to reduce. And so many Kenyans were able to go to school and also attain specific special skill training. Without the matching economic growth, it necessarily leads to unemployment and inflation. So I think Saba Saba generally has achieved a lot than we know. And this is what we should be telling our people, that tomorrow we should be celebrating the achievements of Saba Saba instead of trying to address other issues using Saba Saba. Otherwise, we are going to miss the original intention of Saba Saba and then camouflage other interests, camouflage other specific challenges that are facing us today with the successes of Saba Saba.
Do you then mean some of the issues that were brought on the table that the president appreciated last year, that they were cogent, there were issues needed to be discussed, which you say shouldn't be part of the agenda tomorrow?
They should be, but there is already a forum that was established to discuss that. But for me, I think Saba Saba celebration should be used like we do with other national celebrations to tell our people that it is important to resist oppression. It is important to resist bad governance. It is important to seek for your freedom and defend your rights. And Saba Saba was able to achieve that by doing ABCD. Many people don't know, and I'm sure about this, many people don't know the struggles that Wakina Njeru Katangu went, the struggle that somebody like me went through as a young person, working for Ford, the original Ford, just barely after my Form 4. It was a risky state. So people need to know where we have come from, but many of us don't want to know where we have come from. We are addressing the current challenges by name dropping past events that were sacrificial. They need to know what really happened.
Then how would the current challenges be addressed?
The current challenges should be addressed by engagement, constructive engagement between the leaders and the led, but using the framework that is established in law.
Okay, I'll bring in my colleague Olive, but yes, Mutumishi, you have a right to reply.
Very small here. Well, generally I agree about policy analysis and so forth, but also I must reflect on policy articulation. Would we be celebrating tomorrow about Saba Saba 1990? Because if we all agree that this generation is actually fighting for something, which means that Saba Saba has not achieved. And because it has not achieved, then we must do is to enhance our struggle to be able to achieve the first intentions of Saba Saba. And like I said, although I did not say completely, I coordinated the Saba Saba activities of the 7th July 1990. And I know who came, who didn't, and how many policemen came and killed how many. We lost about 15 to 20, 30 people in Nairobi. And about 53 of them or 70 were hurt. We had about 3,000 arrests that day. And so, according to me, there was nothing we were celebrating then. In fact, we were healing wounds and mourning the dead. Did Daniel Toroitich Moi and his government respond to our grievances and our struggle? Yes, he detained all of us. And so all our families were not celebrating. They were weeping all over the place, isn't it? Since then to this day, there is nobody who participated in the maandamanos of Saba Saba that was recognized by government in whatever manner.
Okay.
In fact, majority of them are dead. So there is nothing that Kathangu will be celebrating tomorrow.
Okay.
It is going to be a sad memorial for me.
Okay.
And so what I want to say is this. What I see before me is a beautiful promise of where Kenya is going. Because these characters here are, in fact, going to be the baton carriers. And I pray for you. And I want to tell you, you remember this day, that on the eve of this Saba Saba, Jeru Kathangu is saying, may God bless you with energies, give you capacities, my friends. And remember, Kenya is your heritage. Don't let it go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Olive is standing by to get the views of also young Kenyans who are with us this evening.
Right here, Ayub, not too far from you. And we have Sophie Nji here, who is a part of the revolutionary Gen Z movement. And she kicks us off with her observation and her question tonight. Yes, please stand up.
My name is Sophie Mogorenji here, and I'm a member of the Revolutionary Gen Z movement. I will topic my question, consequence management. It is said, and my question is directed to you, sir, Mr. Njeru. It is said that there are two ways of enslaving a nation, through debt and through the sword. At the moment, this regime is using both. When it comes to the sword, they're using ethnic profiling to state that this protests are organized by a specific community, specifically the Agikuyu community, which I come from. So I did not see our elected leaders come out. Personally, I'm from Thika. I didn't see my elected leader come out to defend that and say that my youth from Thika are not the ones doing this. So my question to you is, what is the place of common good for the elected leaders when it comes to defending the people who they're elected to defend? And when they fail, then when do the citizens have the power to execute Article 1 that says that the citizens can exercise their power directly? And I would like to underline the word directly.
All right, thank you for that question, Sophie. We have a second question, not too far from Sophie. We have here ODM Comrades chapter. This is Wainaina Gerald. Wainaina, I'll ask you to stand up as well. Wainaina Gerald Owor.
Gerald Owor, not Wainaina, sorry.
Oh, I beg your pardon, Gerald Owor.
Yes. My name is Gerald Owor. I'm the chairperson for the ODM Comrades chapter, Nairobi County. I'm happy to listen to the history of where we have come from as a country. And I support that we still need to proceed and pursue whatever our parents started. Through that, we managed to get the repeal. And we must also not fail to add, Moi used something like tribalism in his time. That why he did not want to repeal the Section 2A. That this thing of when we bring multi-party, it will lead to tribal parties. it will cause a lot of tribalism. Now, during that time, we are seeing a difference in how that thing was organized. We see our leaders were somehow united by then. We see the church was also united by then against the state. Trade union movement during that time had a voice that could propel the government to listen. But where do we come from, or how have we reached to the point where we are today? We have reached to a point where leaders in parliament, nobody can stand up and say this is the problem. And everything the executive say, there's no separation of power between the executive, legislature, or even the judiciary. As a Gen Z, I don't see that. Number two, the government has also moved straight to the trade union.
Allow me to cut you short. Just one question each so that we have everybody to have an opportunity to ask a question, please.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. So I will move to this side here. And Gerald, I apologize for that. Your name, please, and the organization you represent.
My name is Elkana Kali from Kenyatta University. I'm part of the Gen Z movement. So I want to touch on police brutality because according to the Article 37 of this constitution, we are granted the right to peaceful demonstrations. And then when we go to streets and we meet the police there and they are using excessive force. So how can we curb, how can these policemen be controlled? Because wahenga walisema kichaka ni ile ile na nyali ndio tofauti. Because today it's the Gen Z who are demonstrating about the police brutality, extrajudicial killings. So how can we get the change? Because according to the way things are going, it's like we expect nothing different if we don't really continue to exert the pressure. Thank you.
All right, Ayub, I think we can take those questions to begin with.
One more for each
One
round,
more?
then we'll go for another round.
All right, let's get one from a lady. We have one right here. Don't forget to introduce yourself.
Good evening. My name is Damaris, a comrade from Murang'a University. My question is, when I look at the demonstration that happens, you see like people go to the streets. Like when you ask a young person, why are you going to the street? They even don't know. Some of them don't know. They just go to the street because they think the government is oppressing them. And I think through the things that we are oppressed as the Gen Zs is through education and unemployment. Like you find right now to study, you must have money to study in Kenya. You cannot study if you are from a poor background or a needy family because, like, for example, nowadays, a course cannot cost, per semester is 100 and something per course. And compared to the other times, people used to pay like 10,000, 20,000 to study. But nowadays you find like a parent has to pay like above 40,000 for the person to study. Some of our young people are giving up their educations and the chances are given to other people because when you look like a comrade studying in school, you need rent, you need money for your food, you need everything, but the parent can't afford to pay all of that for you for your education. Some are on the streets because they don't know what to do about it. And unemployment also. Some people have degrees, they are holding them at home, but they don't know what to do with them. And when they air themselves about their issues on televisions or demonstrations, the government just use it against them rather than listening to them. I think they should take that time to listen to the things that are aired to them. Thank you.
All right, I've seen we have many more hands, but we will take another round of questions. But I'll allow Ayub to handle those ones first.
Yes, Olive, thanks again. A reminder that this conversation is also live on our X page hosted by my colleague from the digital desk, Claire Mwinde, and we can now listen in for some few seconds before the 4 questions are responded to.
Till cows come home. But if we do not embrace meritocracy during the voting day, we are going to be in trouble. There are many people here today who are very solid ideas. You may think that they're in Singapore, they're in Norway, they're in South Korea. They know the kind of leader they want to elect. But sometime in August, on the 8th of 27, when they go to cast their ballots, they'll be looking for a surname from the village. They'll be looking for the person who's been stealing public resources. Those are the people they give into office. So if we do not embrace meritocracy, if we do not reward character, capacity, and competence, if we do not punish impunity, mediocrity, and corruption, we'll be having these X spaces till all of us are graying. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Our time is well spent and we're about to just close. There are over 130 requests to speak, but because of time, we may not be able to do this. But as I said, we usually have these sessions often. Open mic sessions, it's all about the listeners, and listeners get a chance to speak throughout the space. So I just want to sample some of the comments in the comment section, and then we close on the way forward, and we will continue to have these discussions. Now, Moses Gatonga says, I think demonstration.
Ekele Mwende and the previous speaker was Dismas Mokua talking about the place of meritocracy in the award of state appointments. And Mutumishi Kadhangu, coming to you, Sophie pointed out three particular points. That was the ethnicization of the protests, a common good to defend the people from the representatives, and exercising Article 1.
I think it is important for you and majority of people that think about this nation to remember and appreciate that the word common good, which is extremely important in a country like this one, that we think of our neighbors as people qualifying to share so equally and equitably with us. But the leaders of this nation have gone through a certain process. And this process must never be forgotten here, that the West has been very, very, very constant in things that they do with Africa. Constant. That they started with the curriculum. For example, Kenya has had about 5 or 6 curriculums since we started. None of you would agree with another generation about academics. Why? Because it has kept on changing every 5, 10 years. It's number one. Number two, for us to be engaged seriously, then they introduced another social problem called family planning, which was brought in the 50s, and it became quite a bang. And everybody started talking about that Kenyan women are actually giving birth like rats and rabbits, a big insult. And that one misdirected us. Okay. Then the next thing was that the people elected in Africa were the yes men for colonialists. And therefore, when we talk about neo-colonialism, we are talking about our own people who have been oppressing us. Then there is another thing. While they were doing that, they introduced pandemics, viruses. You cannot think about it, but you think it's a normal disease, abdicardial, that you think of HIV, you think of Ebola, you think of bird flu, you think of, and then corona, right? All of them, if you consider them closely, they are biological acts against the African states. So when we talk about the common good, your leader is in the thick of it, and all these people, what they do, the very first people who are mobilized to come and support them are the leaders we are talking about. And I have been in parliament, I can tell you, my friends, freely, that every time you hear of some bang in this country, some members of parliament are involved. Each one of them getting maybe about from 500,000 and above for him to go there, become a voting machine in parliament to mess you up. Okay. And that has been happening, it is constant. Disunity among leaders is intended. And one of the greatest disunities is this, that every time we are going to be approaching elections, those that are in office split themselves into two, some to be in the opposition, some to be in the government. Those who win, whether those in government or those in opposition, accommodate the rest. And therefore, when you people are running around clapping hands about the great statements by X, Y, Z, you have ignored the great conspiracy against you. And that is something you must note. Don't think of your leaders as the one shouting most. Think of your leaders as those that have not been identified and have not emerged yet. That is where the division is. And the next thing is this, my friends, is that police brutality. Oh, you expect it. The policeman is an arrow of the leader. He is the bow of the assistant lieutenant to the leader. Meaning that every soldier that you see in this country, his business, because they have not been schooled to be civil, his business is to make sure that the president is safe and his ministers. He will do anything to you. Even if you are his mother and you are opposed to what we are saying, then you deal with you. Don't give your chest to the policeman. He is deeply frustrated. They get 26,000, and at the end of the month, everything has gone to taxes, to medicine, to transport, to water, to shoes. The fellows don't have shoes. So when you start quarreling them on the streets, because of that deep frustration, they just go bang. He starts thinking later that, oh, what did I do?
Okay.
You know, so I am at the same time on this forum asking the president and the government of the Republic of Kenya to note two things, that we are there for a moment. We are going to go out. And the people we are going to be joining are these people. And our hope is in the young mind. Okay. And this young mind is the creator. He is the innovator. He is the pioneer. He is the discoverer. If we have got hope for this nation and dreams and visions of this society, then the hope is in those young people that you are eliminating daily on the streets.
Okay, point again.
And let me just say this.
Yes, please.
One of the greatest people you will notice in the streets is those people that are shouting and the people we call opinion shapers. The opinion shapers are the stars of society, and they become the first targets. So I'm reminding the police, who are our brothers, and the ministers and the president, that please don't kill our potential.
Okay. On the fine, Kidi, still on the same issues regarding police brutality were pointed out by Elkanah, and this is a pertinent subject matter, isn't it? And seems we have not decolonized our mindsets from the police force we had in the aftermath of the post-election violence. The report which indicated 1 in 3 was as a result of police bullet. How then is the approach to this still wrong, and the excesses that are meted on young lives?
Thank you, Ayub. The question of police brutality in Kenya is an intentional problem from the political class. As Mtumishi has eloquently pointed out, it appears that there is a deliberate attempt to weaponize law enforcement in Kenya against the people. Because the way the police is structured today, it is not any different from police. Policing was done and how it was done for 50 years before we got the constitution. So, because for attempts to the police and make it friendly. I think 11th Parliament or the 10th Parliament in 2014, we enact the security amendment laws. What the security amendment clause does is that then it takes away all the attempts to make the police independent and make it subservient to the political class. So then what happens? Then the political class does not have whims, does not spare any thoughts about using the police to brutalize the people. And we do this very successfully. We brutalized the people during IEBC Mondays in 2016. We deploy the police against civilians in 2017 elections. We deploy the police in 2023, and we continue to deploy the police so that today, as we speak, there is another problem, that we have the police stand by and then hire goons to then brutalize the citizens as the police stand watch. So the problem around the police brutality in Kenya is, to cure it, in my view, I think it must start with the political goodwill, that we must have a commander-in-chief and a political leadership that will say that never again will we use our police to brutalize our people, particularly young people. Because as again, Tumishi had said, is that we are busy killing our future. So I think that for any time we are speaking about police brutality, we must place the blame where it deserves, and that is the commander-in-chief. Okay. Thank you.
And Cosmas, yes. Damaris points out another important point, the purpose of going to the streets. Are we there? Is the purpose right? And given the feedback that we had from the state?
Okay, that's where I have a challenge with the current movement, and especially the occasion of tomorrow. When you want to petition or protest, there must be a petition that is addressed to a specific institution. In this case, it has not been made clear by the organizers of tomorrow's function what they are petitioning and to whom they are petitioning. But let me say this, arising from what Mheshimiwa said. Frantz Fanon, young people must know about him, once said that every generation has a responsibility to rise from their relative obscurity, define their mission, and take deliberate steps to achieve it. Every generation. The generation of Wakina Kathangu, they did the second liberation. They succeeded in some, there are some failures. If you allow other generations to become part and parcel of your vision, I can assure you, what they are going to do is to try to achieve what they failed during their time, using yourselves. And circumstances are different. The 1990s is different from what we have today. The methods that were used then, both by the government and the opposition, cannot be used today successfully. And that's why I'm wary when we have people wanting to take advantage of the revolution that was started last year. These people had their vision. Why don't we allow them to organize themselves in the best way that they know, so that we don't have what is now called united opposition trying to latch onto their vision. We now have people who themselves are my generation, who did their work when they were young, supporting the Kathangu team, trying to take advantage of the Gen Z revolution to get into offices, which we have failed to do during our youthful time. Allow this generation to do their bit in the best way that they know, because it is them who understand themselves well. Let them define their mission, let them define their objectives, and let them engage the right institutions.
Yeah. But Cosmas, that doesn't mean, because they are fighting for a better Kenya.
Yes.
It doesn't mean then that you, Njeru, and James as well, are not disqualified from also helping the cause in advancing an agenda to have a better Kenya, isn't it?
That is the intention. But being human beings and politicians, I can assure you, the intention is to hijack. Let me put some records straight. The generation of Njeru Kathangu, they succeeded. The NAC government plus the Grand Coalition government was the government of the Young Turks. All of them, except Moi Kibaki, was the president. Look at all those ministers. He can't confirm. They were there. What did they do? Why are we still here? So they made their successes. And there were some failures. what we should do, those of them who are still in public offices should try to correct their mistakes. But we should not latch onto a revolution that was started voluntarily by these young people because nobody prompted them to do it. Let them organize themselves, but let them define the agenda clearly. So that they should not try to latch also onto old tactics. Saba Saba had its own tactics, and you people didn't know about it. Trying to latch on it may not help you much.
Point, but I take your point. Before I come to Mutumisha, allow me to get James. James, Odwar pointed out the point of the unity of purpose. After the break, you'll be responding to that because he has pointed out the unity of purpose, and you'll be responding to that as we proceed with this conversation here with you, my able panel, and also the young Kenyans who are in studio this evening with us as they make their points clear in regards to the good governance structure they want and the call that they have made clear on the streets of the major cities in Nairobi when they came out last year in search of transparency, accountability as topic to the malfeasance and the failure by institutions to represent their voices here in the country. Sunday Live, this special broadcast, will be back after the break here on the podcast. Stay tuned.
Coming up, the lessons and legacy of Kenya's multi-partyism journey in live town hall.
We were in need of classes at a very fast rate. Partnering with SPS enabled us to have excellent classrooms. We had confidence in them and they delivered.
SAFBuild, a quality product from Safal Building Systems, a subsidiary of MRM.
Let the day perish wherein I was born.
Every story is different. Some stories you find in the headlines, some come from the heart, but every story is worth hearing. Viusasa brings you Murder at Got Alila. We unwrap the mystery behind Robert Ouko's death. In Jane and Solomon, the self-confessed witness gives his account of the story.
My husband was not murdered on that sick.
From the truth-seeking investigative stories to the raw human stories that often go unheard, Viusasa is your home for documentaries.
Whenever you fly to space or take your first step as baby, SoftCare always stays with you.
New SoftCare Space Series is rooted from space technology. Keeps you dry and comfortable for 12 hours long. Offers you the most effective protection during your space journey.
SoftCare. Protect your leap.
Royal Mabati Factory Limited. Grab our media sales discounts. Corrugated and box profile at 405 per meter, brick tile at 482 and Roman tile at 517. Relax at home and enjoy free delivery countrywide. Call us on 0722.
Tunaingia vijijini, mijini na hata jijini kukuletea taarifa mchana kutwa. Usiku tunaketi kitako. Tunadadavua tukichanganua taarifa na makala muhimu yanayokuhusu wewe na familia yako. Ungana na Bernard Ngozi kwenye Open Forum Political Show kuanzia saa 4 usiku hadi dakika zake kila siku ya wiki kwenye
Kutoka vijijini, mijini hadi jijini. Hii ni Sound Country Talk Live. Kutoka vijijini, mijini hadi jijini. Hii ni Sound Country Talk Live.
Tonight. Basi yule mtoto akasema ile siku moja mimi sijaenda kanisani na Yesu Kristo anakuja.
Because kuleta ndege ya Chief of Defense Forces down is not only negligence but criminal negligence.
Nilikuja hapa hadi ya Gong nikamwambia mchague Ruto. Na mimi naomba msamaha.
Na mchezo huu rais ni mchezo ambao utakusaidia wewe rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Ni mchezo ambao unakufundisha jinsi vile kufanya kazi.
Your Excellency, what helped that case was there was a policeman who recorded his statement in English.
Sasa huyu ndiye nilipiga kofi. Juzi ndio amenipigia simu akaniambia.
Tonight. Basi yule mtoto akasema ile siku moja mimi
you, and I really appreciate for being with you and having moment discussion, having a day with you. Indeed, it's so great as Bernard started over. For more confirmation or for more details of if you want to support the channel, just use the scrolling details on the screen and it will be great. If you also want to advert with us, use the screen details on the screen and we'll market your product very well, and we also market. And if the first time coming across the channel and you have not clicked the subscription note, please make sure you click the subscription note so that we can be together and we can move together as one. And also there's the link to join inside to be a member of Sound Candy Talk. Please, I still urge you, click the link, join and be a member of Sound Candy Talk. For those who are watching us on TikTok, please, I urge you, go to the YouTube channel, search Sound Candy Talk the same way it is on TikTok. Please subscribe and also join, be a member of Sound Candy Talk, and it will be great. We really love you, we really respect you, and I really ask God bless you, because we'll appreciate for you being there as Team Sound Candy Talk. And I really appreciate for being with you and having moment discussion, having a day with you. Indeed, it's so great as Bernard started over. For more confirmation or for more details of if you want to support the channel, just use the scrolling details on the screen and it will be great. If you also want to advert with us, use the screen details on the screen and we'll market your product very well, and we also market. And if the first time coming across the channel and you have not clicked the subscription note, please make sure you click the subscription note so that we can be together and we can move together as one. And also there's the link to join inside to be a member of Sound Candy Talk. Please, I still urge you, click the link, join and be a member of Sound Candy Talk. For those who are watching us on TikTok, please, I urge you, go to the YouTube channel, search Sound Candy Talk the same way it is on TikTok. Please subscribe and also join, be a member of Sound Candy Talk, and it will be great. We really love you, we really respect you, and I really ask God bless you, because we'll appreciate for you being there.
Bwana Yesu asifiwe.
Kipindi cha mahubiri kimerudi tena kwa kishindo kwenye Sound Candy Talk. Tunakufundisha, kukuelimisha na kukutia moyo kwenye Daily Bite. Mafundisho kamili ya Biblia kila siku kwenye runinga uipendayo ya Sound Candy Talk.